Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Devil Tongue and Phantom Mother. No blacks, no Jews, no gays, no Latinos, no Asians, no Middle Eastern,
And American Indians.
Native American. You know, today is August 14th, and if you're aware of what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia over the weekend, it's as ugly as it gets, but it's going to get worse. You know, again, I'm Devil Tongue,
Phantom Mother.
and you're listening to We're All Over the Place on Spreaker.com, www.spreaker.com. I want to discuss about white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, or WASP as the acronym suggests, because this issue of white nationalism has reached a very a very critical flashpoint where a lot of innocent people are dying in the name of, call it what you want, patriotism, pure fucking bullshit. All right, just to give you a quick recap of what happened over the weekend. Ms. Heather Heyer, 32 years old, was killed by James Alex Fields, who happens to be 20. He drove all the way from Ohio to Charlottesville, Virginia, to participate in this protest,
aka alternative right movement.
the alternative right movement, veiled as white nationalism. And this Mr. Fields, he joined the army in August of 2015, but he returned in December of that same year, reason unknown. Now, I'm going to say this. If you remember Timothy McVeigh, for those of you too young to remember, Timothy McVeigh, who was put to death for bombing Oklahoma City, I forget what year that was.
And it was a government building on top of that.
Right. He also, I guess, used the patriotism shield, or he tried to hide behind it, but we'll never know what angered him to the point that he wanted to take as many lives as he took with the bombing of that building. In relation to what's going on, or I should say what happened this weekend, the reason why a riot broke out, these nationalists are angry that the city of Charlottesville, Virginia, decided to remove a Confederate statue of Robert E. Lee. Now, let's face it, the Civil War, it was what it was, and the South lost. However, from the Confederate flag to honoring generals like Robert E. Lee, we have not removed the stain of racism or slavery, if you will, for decades moving forward. And to this day, the Klan, they still preach hatred. They still will beat, chase, burn, because they just don't like you simply because of their race and our race. I, as a black male myself, cannot fathom why some people of color are still in denial about racism here in America. It's blatant. It's in our face. And it can't get any more real than what happened in Charlottesville. Because while Miss Heather Heyer, and God rest her soul, herself was a Caucasian female, she was in the fight with us and for us. She was not against us. It would have been somewhat ironic, I guess, if Mr. Fields had killed another nationalist, but that's not what happened. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of other people injured as well, people of color and I guess other ethnicities, what have you. But she was the only one who died for this cause, and it's only going to escalate. Donald Trump, he can sit in the White House and even he's somewhat in denial because he will not denounce the Klan. He even denied knowing who David Duke is, and if you're as old as Mr. Trump, how could you not know who David Duke is? Any thoughts on that, Phantom?
No, I'm just listening. Just listening what you're saying, because what you're saying is pretty deep.
Spreaker.com, you're listening to Devil Tongue and Phantom Other. And again, this episode is WASP, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. There before the grace of God go I. For those of you who are old enough to remember that hit by the group Machine, the bottom line is that that's the attitude that is prevalent amongst most racists. They don't want blacks, Jews, gays. They don't want anyone who is not of their own, I guess, ethnic background and makeup. Now, I can't tell you specifically what makeup, I guess, a Caucasian person, what it is, whether they're Russian, East, European.
Right.
I'm going to stop right there. But the bottom line is, when some ignorant person has the nerve to say, go back to Africa, okay, here's exactly what I'm going to say. We're not going back on slave ships. You pay for my fucking plane ticket, all right? You make sure that the infrastructure is set up so I can work. Set it up like a North America. If you want me to go back that bad, and mind you, I'm born and raised here in America, just like you were probably born and raised in America. Your grandfathers, your grandmothers came from there, but you didn't. So where do you get off telling us to go back from someplace we didn't even come from? Take your fucking ass back to Europe if that's how you feel about us.
I was thinking the same thing, because they're not American either, and they came here, how they got here, and they're coming here and they're probably Europeans. And then guess what? You just like me. Just the only difference is that we were forced here. You came here, how you say?
Well, they came here of free will.
Right.
Looking
I was
for...
going to say leisure. That's what I was looking for. They came here at their leisure. We came here, we were forced, sold, bamboozled. We were on slave ships. You probably was there on your Delta, probably getting fed, your little snacks and your drinks. And you're sitting there with your family, talking and everything and having a good time, talking, being excited, coming here. As in, we came here in fear because we don't know, being separated from our families, being grouped up, and then being forced into slavery is totally different. Who really America belongs to? It belongs to the Native Americans. They're the ones that got the worst deal out of everything. They were the first ones here. They got bamboozled. They got stolen, raped, pillaged. They just had the worst of it. And me personally, if I had to give it back to whoever I had to really give it back to, it would be the American Indian. AKA Native American. I know the proper PC for it, but I'm just saying it will go back to them because that's fair. It's fair. How you able to take a whole island away for $24? Come on now, really? $24.
The truth is, this land is big enough for all of us. Let's take a look at something that's real. Whenever natural disasters occur, take your pick: earthquake, tornado, hurricane. Hundreds of thousands of people wiped out. It does not put a dent in the population. Now, whether this really is some foolish joke or they're very serious about space exploration, NASA is looking to hire a planetary protection officer, basically to protect us from aliens. So if they're saying that there is other life forms out there and they're worried about us being attacked, well, I'm going to say it again. This Earth is big enough for everybody. There shouldn't be this small-minded closure of there's too many people here and we're overpopulated.
Well, the thing about NASA, that whole thing, remember when Obama was in office, he shut that down. He shut it down. Because you know what? That sounds like buffoonery. Don't get me wrong. Space should be explored. But when you're talking about aliens and stuff like that, that's a waste of time. Okay? If you're looking at space, you should look at space as an exploratory for you to see of other, how you say, resources of things that we're losing out on Earth because us as humans are abusing the Earth. We have global warming. Our icebergs are breaking or they're melting down. Places are getting hotter. Places where there shouldn't be winter is winter. Places where they shouldn't be hot is getting hotter. That's something that we should look into as a resource. But, you talking about looking for aliens and stuff like that, that's a waste of time.
But we have bigger issues, such as the issue of North Korea threatening us. Well, I'll just say the threat of war that's looming. And
that's a big problem. We're so busy. You know what kills me? Yeah, you got the white nationalists and they're protesting all their other garbage and stuff like that. But guess who's up there going to get the upper hand on us? Korea, Russia, everybody else who wants a part of us. Everybody who wants a part of us is going to get us now because you know what? We're divided as a nation now. So you know what? They're basically sitting there saying, go ahead, white people. Go ahead, divide yourself even more because you know what? It's divide and conquer. We're going to come in, swoop you from the back, blow your ass up, and call it a damn day. And guess what? It's going to work. It's going to work. And guess what? Your white nationalist self is not going to even think to even do anything because guess what? You're so busy protesting about Robert E. Lee coming down and stupid flags. Half of California is going to be gone. Okay? What you going to say about that? Duh. What are you going to say?
Who's the real enemy? There's a flag, Don't Tread on Me. It has the rattlesnake. And basically that flag was designed as a warning, to, I guess, be mindful of you, let's just say, stepping on me. Not literally, but, just coming within my personal space, my territory, trying to take over. And it's a very strong image even to this day. I feel that while Don't Tread on Me does apply to everybody, it also needs to be viewed as stay, just stay in your zone. Don't feel like you have the right to play judge, jury, or any of that foolishness when you don't own anything.
Well, I have something else to say to that. What kills me is that you have all this energy to fight for something that's history, which is not even really prevalent of today. It's history, meaning in the past. You wasn't there. Your forefathers were there. You wasn't even thought about. But the part that kills me is that here it is. These are the same people that you so-called like, you look up to and look after, and they screw you over in the end. Case in point, why are all the jobs going overseas? These are jobs supposed to be, make America great, but then I don't see you putting that same energy in Robert E. Lee into those corporations where it's like, we need job here and we need money here. The money shouldn't leave the United States. The money should be staying within the United States. No, but you wouldn't fight for that. My problem is that people's energy is being distributed in different areas where it shouldn't be. Meaning, if you want to keep America great, try to keep your companies here. Fight for your companies. If you want to use your white power, use your white power for that. No, I bet you every piece of clothing you got on and the car you probably own is not even American. You probably going to look at me and be like, y'all own a Ford. No, you don't. You probably own a Honda, Hyundai, a Kia. That's not American. It might be made in Kansas, but it's not American.
If,
So